everyone. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas holiday. Thank you so much for joining me. Now today I'm doing the 10 cards 1 kit video with the Simon Says stamp December card kit. This card kit is called Favorite Person, and here's a quick look at everything that came in this kit. You get 5 sheets of the Simon Says stamp cardstock and then 1 piece of the Nina Desert Storm cardstock, so you get 6 total. And then of course you get your inspiration sheet. It gives a lot of fun ideas. And then the ingredients for the kit are on the bottom of that sheet. And then next you get your paper pad. Now this paper pad is from Pebbles. It's called Forever My Always, and it's a Valentine's themed paper pad. You get 12 sheets. They're single-sided, but a lot of fun, beautiful pinks and reds and fuchsias. A lot of fun pattern papers in here. So that's your pattern paper there. Okay, now you get your stamp set. This is the Really Like You stamp set, Simon Says stamp exclusive, and a lot of fun Valentine's sentiments in there. And then you also get some puppy stickers. These are from Crate Paper. They're from the Main Squeeze collection, and they're real pretty. They have a gold lining on them, so I thought that would be real fun to play with. And then you get 5 envelopes in the kit, and these are beautiful, like a pearlescent kind of a envelope, so you can get 5 of those. And then you get a little mini ink cube. This is the C&CT Delicata ink. This one is the pink shimmer, and I wanted to show you the color, how pretty this is. But it's beautiful, soft, but shimmery. So you get an ink cube of that. And then here is the Tim Holtz Vintage Platinum Distress Glitter Dust. Beautiful colors. There's golds and platinums, and I look forward to using that. I thought that would be really fun. But that's everything in the kit, so we're going to just jump in with card number 1. I have a piece of black cardstock here. This measures 2.5 inches wide by 2 3/4 inches long. And I'm going to take the sentiment that says, I really like you. I'm going to ink it up with my Versamark ink and just stamp that towards the bottom of this black cardstock here. And then I'm going to go in with some Simon Says stamp fine detail white embossing powder, and then I just went ahead and melted that. Now just to give it a little something, I'm going to take my corner chopper and I'm going to use the 1/4 inch side, and I'm going to round the corners. This card was there's a little cut apart in the pattern paper, and this card was inspired by that little cut apart. Next, I'm going to take this little rose pattern paper, and I'm going to cut out about 6 or 7 little roses. Some of them have leaves and some of them don't. But just to give it a more finished look, I'm going to go around all the edges with some black soot distress ink. Now using my tape runner, I'm just going to arrange my flowers on the top part of that little panel there. Most of the ones with the leaves, I did add dimensional adhesive behind it, and then just popped all those up. Now I did cut out another panel using white cardstock, and this measures 3 inches by 4 1/4. And I'm going to add some foam tape behind my sentiment panel and just place that on my white panel there. I think the black against the white is really striking, so I think that looks really nice. Now I did add foam tape behind that panel, and I'm going to place it on the Schoolhouse Red cardstock, adding a little bit of shimmer with Wink Estella. And then these are Autumn Red Nouveau Crystal Drops. I added a few drops here and there. But that's card number 1. Nice pretty little Valentine's card. Here's a close-up of what it looks like. Now we're going to move on to card number 2. For card number 2, I'm taking my T-square ruler, and I'm going to cut out a 1.5 inch section on this. I'm not going to cut it. Well, I'm going to pencil line a 1.5 inch section there on this. This is actually the card base. This is the Nina Desert Storm. I'm going to go over the entire card base with my anti-static powder tool. Now I did this in a recent video, and I love the outcome of it, so I thought I would do it again for this card. I'm taking my Versamark ink, and then this is the stitched little heart that came in the stamp set. I'm stamping the entire panel with Versamark. Once I have that done, I'm going to go in with the fine detail white embossing powder and cover that entire surface. Okay, just melt that embossing powder, and there's our panel. Now next I'm going to color in those hearts. I'm going to use some worn lipstick, Distress Oxide ink, and then just using my water pen, I'm going to color in all those little hearts. Now I did stamp 3 hearts in a row inside that pencil marked area. I colored 2 of them pink, but the third one I'm going to go in with some cracked pistachio oxide ink, and I'm going to color that in. And then I did add the cracked pistachio to that middle pink heart, and it turned a blue color, and I was happy with that actually. So I have a green and a blue and a pink heart right in the middle there. Now I'm going to use those pencil marks as a guide, and I'm just going to trim out that 1.5 inch section here. I'm going to replace that section with some acetate, so I thought those 3 hearts would be great accents. Now next I'm going to be taking some score tape, and I'm going to place it on the bottom of the section that we cut out here, and then on the top part of the bottom section of the card base. I'm just going to take my scissors and clean that up a little bit. So here's my, now this acetate is from Judikins, and it is an embossable plastic. And so I just added it right on top of that score tape. Next I'm going to fussy cut out my 3 little hearts. There we go. Okay, I'm going to grab my mini Misty, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment. Now the sentiment for this card I chose is "You're my favorite." And I am using my anti-static powder tool. I learned that this is very important when you use that embossable plastic. I'm going to place my sentiment right towards the left there. I'm going to close the door, and then I'm going to use my Versamark ink and stamp my sentiment. Now I'm going to take my white embossing powder, and I'm going to go over the sentiment. And you'll see when I first add it, the static kind of clumps it together, but once you tap it, it all taps off. And so I just went ahead and melted that. And then to cover up the score tape, I'm going to take 2 strips of this pattern paper here. I'm just cutting out the X's and the O's that are in a row. And then using my, this is actually Tomomono multi-glue, I'm going to adhere that right over my score tape. That way it gives it a clean finished look, and it gives a little bit of an accent as well. I'm just trimming off the excess here. I think that looks so fun. Okay, I did pop up my hearts with some dimensional adhesive, and I'm just going to stack them 3 in a row right next to the sentiment. And that's it for that card. Oh, no it isn't. I did stamp some more of the hearts and place them on the inside of the card, because you could see the dimensional adhesive behind that plastic. But that's it for card number 2. Here's a close-up. Okay, now for my next card, card number 3. I don't know why it does this, but you know what? I tried editing card number 3 times, and it was a process. So this card process is kind of distorted a little bit. It's actually long and skinny, and it's I don't know why the screen does that, guys. I'm so sorry, but towards the end you'll be able to see the look of it without the distortion. I just had to edit along with it because I couldn't redo the video. I'm so sorry. But I cut out a panel with a gradient pattern paper, and then I did use some double-sided tape, stuck it to a piece of white cardstock, and then I added the distressed glitter dust. I pushed it in with my finger, and then I used my bone folder to burnish it in there, just so it stay a little bit put. But next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a 3/4 inch strip here. Actually, it's a 1/2 inch strip off of the left side of the panel, and then I'm going to cut another 1/2 inch strip, and I'm going to remove that. So I'm going to replace what I had cut out with the glitter paper. So just using some adhesive, this is my black card base, and it's actually, it doesn't look like it, but it's actually 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. The panel size that I had originally cut out with the gradient paper was 3 1/2 inches by 4 3/4. So next I adhered the glitter, and then I did pop up the pattern paper, and I'm basically created a valley on this card base. Now, for a little bit of embellishment, I decided to use the U plus me equals the little heart. So I'm just going to trim that out. And then on the other cut apart sheet, there's a Valentine's Day strip. I'm going to cut that out. I did trim off some of the pink area on the first cut apart, and then I did fishtail the end of the Valentine's Day. And once I have that done, I'm going to arrange them on my card base. Both of them I'm just going to pop up with some foam tape. And then here, the screen went back to normal. So this is the actual normal size. But I'm so sorry about the distortion. I don't know what happened. But this is the card number 3. Very simple and easy. I added a few puffy stickers there. But okay, now we're going to move on to card number 4. I'm using that cut apart sheet, and I'm cutting out the X's and the O's. And then I'm also going to cut out the little heart that says yours truly. And then I'm also going to cut out the one that says for my love. And these are all little square, like 1 inch square tiles. So I cut 3 of those out. Now I thought it'd be fun to give these tiles a little bit of an accent by using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. I'm going to go around the edges of all these little tiles. I'm going to dip them in the Distress glitter dust just to accent them and make them nice and shiny. Here's where I just dip them in there. I decided to grab my tweezers because it was just a lot easier. Okay, I did that to all 3 of my little square sentiments there, and they're nice and shiny, and I love it. Now next I'm going to cut out 2 2-inch strips. These are 2 inches by 5 1/2 inches. I'm going to cut out 2 of those. And then in my stash, I have this, this is a MFT die, and it's a stitched inter-window trio die, and it'll cut out little windows, but they're little flappable windows, if that makes sense. So I flipped it over, and then I'm going to add some of my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, and then I'm going to add a clear piece of acetate right behind that window sheet. That way when you open those windows up, you'll see acetate behind it. I wanted to create like a little shaker card, so I'm going to add some foam tape all along the back, and then I did separate the sections of the windows with the foam tape. Next, I thought it'd be fun to add some glitter. Now at first, after I added the glitter, the static really made it stick to the acetate. But as I'm filming, I'm looking at the card, and the glitter did settle, so it actually fell to the bottom, and it looked really neat. So you can see how the static just is sticking like crazy, but it looks really pretty, and I was happy with the way that looked. I thought it'd be a nice little surprise to open those little flaps, and so we're going to add some puffy stickers. I thought those little lips were so sweet. So we're going to add those to my little inside windows. And my windows were still able to close somewhat, so I thought that would be perfect in there. So each window has a little kiss waiting for the recipient. I'm going to pop up those tiles with some foam squares here, and I'm going to place them on each of the front of the windows. Next I cut out a 1/2 inch strip using the black and white pattern paper, and then I'm going to adhere this to the left of the card. Just trimming off the excess, and then I'm also going to adhere my little shaker window panel there, just using my tape runner. That's going to go right there. This is a very simple card and very easy, and if you don't have the window, I think it'd be probably pretty easy to make your own. So, but that's it for card number 4. Very shimmery, shiny, and messy. I have glitter everywhere. Here's a close-up. Okay, now we're going to move along to card number 5. I want a strip of this red pattern paper with the little hearts on it, and I'm going to adhere this directly to the X's and O pattern paper. I'm going to take a stitch rectangle die and cut out my panel. The panel size for this card is, actually I didn't even measure it. Let me measure it for you. It is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then I did cut out a circle frame using the light, like the light teal polka dot paper. And I popped that up with some foam tape, placed that on the panel, and then I did cut out a piece of vellum that would fit right inside that panel. I think when I added the vellum, it kind of muted the background color so it wasn't so busy. Next, I'm just trimming out this little hello, little speech bubble there. And then I'm also going to trim out the little X's and O's. And it looks like it's on craft paper, so I'm going to cut that one out as well. And then there's a little cut apart that says love you more. And I cut that out. Now I'm just going to arrange them on this panel here. I did pop those up with some foam tape. I'm going to place that one there, and then the little strip of hearts right above the red pattern paper. And then I'm going to add my little thought bubble right there. And I did add dimensional adhesive to everything. Now I thought it'd be cute if I had 2 of those little happy little hearts talking to each other, I guess. Just to give them a little bit more height, I guess. I added some dimensional adhesive behind them and placed them right below the little speech bubble that says hello. But that's my panel, so we're going to flip it over and add some foam tape behind it, and then we're going to place that on the craft card base. And that's it for that card. Very cute. Okay, now for card 6, we're going to use this cut apart sheet. I decided to make an entire panel with the cut aparts. So I'm going to start off where the bicycle is and trim down, and then I'm going to go on the other side where it says my heart belongs to you and trim that down. So I have basically a rectangle panel. We're going to make a side folding card for this. I did cut out that little heart as well. Now I'm taking the stripe pattern paper and I'm going to create 2 strips. For my card base, I'm going to use the black cardstock, and then I'm going to place one of the strips on the very top, and then I added the other strip right on the back of the panel that we had cut out. I just placed a little heart up there on the top right corner there, and I thought it'd be fun to add, well, I added some black jute cord around there, and then I popped the entire panel up with some dimensional or foam tape, just to give a little bit of dimension to this card. And I just placed that on my card base there. Very simple, easy card. Now for a little bit of accent, I'm going in with some glossy accents. I went over the sentiment that says, I'd hug you all day if I could. And then the little heart on top, and then the little red heart under you and me. And then I did go over all the flowers with some Wink Estella. But here's a close-up. Now, we have another one of those videos that are elongated. I don't know how it does that. I'm so sorry. But I'm cutting out this cut apart here. It says Happy Valentine's Day. And then I also cut out a panel. This panel is 4 by 5 1/4, and it's the red with the little pink hearts on it. And then with this white cardstock, I'm doing the exact same thing I did with the earlier card, creating a glitter strip. And then I'm going to use the leftover stripe pattern paper there too as well. Now I wanted to give this little cut apart a little bit of dimension, so I'm just going to cut out that Valentine's Day. I do this often with cut-aparts. I think it's a great way to add dimension. I'm going to go in with some black soot distress ink and go around the edges of the inside where I cut out, and then also on the outside Valentine's Day one, just to give it a cleaner look. I'm adding a piece of white cardstock in that open area, and then I did pop up the Valentine's Day, and I'm going to place it back in its home. This way this little panel has a lot of dimension. Next, I'm going in with some Nouveau Deluxe adhesive, and I'm adding a few drops over the little centers of the flowers. And I'm going to add some of that glitter, just to add a little bit of glittery accent to this panel. Now, I'm going to clean up my mess, and then I'm going to just place the heart on my card base. For this card base, I actually grabbed a piece of Nina Desert Storm for my stash. I thought that the craft would look really good with this card. I added those strips of glitter paper to the sides of the stripe paper, and then I thought it just needed a little bit more, so I did cut out a panel with the black and white pattern paper, and I fishtailed the end and created a little banner. And that's going to go there, but I'm just going to pop everything up with some dimensional or some foam tape. And that's it. And this, believe it or not, is not a long card. It is a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch. Here's a close-up. And if you guys, I'm so sorry about the video, but it is a huge process to edit, and time consuming too. So I had to roll with it. So please apologize for that. Okay, for my next card, I'm taking that X and O from the stamp set, and I'm using the Delicata ink. And I'm flip-flopping, and I'm making a pattern going up this white cardstock here. So one will start with an X, and the next one will start with an O. Next, I'm taking some C&CT stamp, Intense Black ink, and I'm going to go over one of those X's and O's with that, just to make it stand out and make it to be bold. I cut out my panel using a stitched rectangle die. Now this panel is 3.5 by 4 3/4, and then we're going to use some of those cut-aparts. I love those cut-aparts. Now I decided to use the hello. It says hello, I love you, and I'm just going to trim that out and kind of curl up the edges a little bit. And then in the other sheet there's a little pencil. The pencil says you're all right, which I thought was cute, so I just cut the pencil out. I'm going to pop up my little paper panel with some foam tape and place that on my sentiment panel here. And then I'm going to add some foam tape behind my pencil and add that to the little paper. Looks cute. Now to bring it all together, I'm going to go in with my black marker and just create a swirl from the paper down to the X's and the O, as if the pencil wrote the X and the O. I thought that looked really neat. And then I did use one of the little happy face hearts, added that to my little paper panel, and then I'm placing it on the doll pink. No, this is cotton candy cardstock that came in the kit. And then very simple card, but I think it turned out cute. So that's it for that one. Now for card 9, I wanted to use this little cut apart here. It's very pretty. I'm just trimming it out here, and sometimes my paper trimmer makes a straighter cut than I do, so I use that. Now I cut out also a panel, this with the rose pattern paper. Now the panel, I just used my paper trimmer, and I cut out a 3 3/8 inch by 4 3/4 inch. And to give it a finished look, I'm going around the edges with black soot, around the pattern paper and the little sentiment cut apart here. Now I wanted a strip of the doll pink, so I'm taking a stitch rectangle die, and I'm going to cut out a window directly in my card base. This is a great way to extend your cardstock. So I'm just going to add the flower panel directly on my card base, and when you open it up you'll see a white background, and I didn't mind because you can add anything in there. You can add an extra little note but it looks nice and clean when you open it up. And then I have an extra piece of the doll pink cardstock there. Now this is the top part of the rose pattern paper. Usually that's the part we throw away, but I'm just going to trim it down, and I'm going to place that on the bottom of that cardstock there. Just using my tape runner, I'm going to adhere that, and then I'm going to fishtail the end, and then I did pop up my cut apart with foam tape. I added a heart at the end of my little banner, and then I popped up the entire panel. For a little bit of shimmer, I'm going in with Wingstella, and then these are Simply White Nouveau Crystal Drops. I'm going around all the little white berries on that rose pattern paper. Very simple card, but very pretty. I think this is a cute one. So that's card number 9. Here's a close-up. Now for a final card. I'm taking the leftover piece of the X and O pattern paper, and I'm going to adhere that to a piece of white cardstock right in the center. And then I'm going to take my stitched rectangle die and cut out my panel. Now this panel is, I didn't even measure this one either. Boy, I'm not on the ball today. I think it's all the editing I was trying to do. Okay, this is 3.5 by 4 3/4 panel. And then I did cut out a little heart using the polka dotted pattern paper. And I stamped I love you with VersaFine ink. I'm going to use both of these cut aparts and create like a little book. So I folded it in half, and I'm just using my bone folder to crease it so it kind of stays closed. And I'm going to curl up the edges a little bit. And that's going to go kind of at an angle behind my little heart there. And then there's some X's and O's in the cut aparts that are larger than the ones on the background panel. I just cut that out too. Now, next I wanted to use these little block words. I'm going to stamp using VersaFine ink, Happy Valentine's Day. And then I just used my scissors and trimmed that out. And I did leave a little bit of a white border around them. And then I popped each of those up with some foam tape. I'm going to place those on my panel along with all my little decorations there. And I'm going to flip it over and then add some foam tape behind this entire panel. I placed it on the cotton candy card base. And then for little extras, I went over the little red hearts on the background panel and then the X's and the O's. And that's it for that card. Very fun and easy. Here's a quick look at all 10 cards that I made. And if you're interested in seeing more close-up pictures, I'll leave a link to my blog. You can check that out below too as well. But this kit was really fun. I was excited about making Valentine's Day cards. I think Valentine's Day is just wonderful. Love hearts. At the end here too, I did show you what was left over. I got a lot of requests to show what's left over in the kit. And so I show what we have left over. But these cards were, I think, very simple and easy. And again, I'm so sorry about my picture. I don't know how it does that. But here's what's left. Of course, you get your envelopes. There's 5 of them. These are the 3 card bases that I have left. I have the mint and the doll pink, 2 mints, 1 doll pink, 3 full sheets of pattern paper, and then here's the little bits and pieces I had left over. Then here's the cut aparts. Lots of puffy stickers still left over. Of course, your stamp set. And then you got a big old jar of glitter left over, and then your Delicata ink. And a sucker, of course, for dessert. Thank you so much for stopping by, guys. I wish you a fantastic day, and we will see you again really soon. And thank you for all your lovely Christmas wishes. I so appreciate it. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.